Salam guys and welcome back to my channel. Today I've got a really simple recipe for some brown rice. In here I've got potatoes and peas. This is a really simple, really quick and easy way to make rice. So if you guys would like to know how I made these yummy looking rice, then please keep watching. So you would need 500 grams of basmati rice. You will need some oil, 2 large chopped onions. You also need a few spices, so some cumin seeds and some garam masala. You need some salt. I'm adding some frozen peas. You can use fresh ones if you want. And I've got 1 large chopped potato, which I've got in some water only because I cut this before and I didn't want the potato to go black, so that's a good tip. But you don't need to soak this in water, and basically that's about it. Oh, you also need some boiling water, so the water should be double the amount of rice, but I'll explain to you guys how to measure that in the next step. Firstly, I've got 3 tablespoons of oil in a large pan, and I've added in the sliced onion. My gas is completely low at this point, so I'm just going to whack that up to medium heat. So you want to just give that a stir. Again, we're waiting for the onions to go quite soft and quite brown. So to aid the process of softening the onions, we're going to add in 1 teaspoon of salt and then give that a good stir. Again, salt is personal preference. I find it really difficult to tell the measurement for salt just because I know the amount of food I've tasted this Ramadan from other people. Some people prefer loads of salt and some people don't. So you can definitely alter this recipe to your liking. So keeping the gas on a full heat now, I'm going to put on the lid and we're going to leave that for a couple of minutes and then check back in. So guys, the onions have now browned. I know they may look burnt, but we really need them this colour for rice, just because the rice won't turn out the right colour. So I'm just going to put in some water and then quickly put the lid back on. You want to retain the steam. You need really fast reflexes for this point. Literally throw the water, then throw the lid on. If only you could see me doing that, but yeah. Don't worry about the onions at this stage. It doesn't, honestly, we want them to go a bit more brown. You can see now the water really helped them. So now I'm going to add in the potatoes. I'm adding these earlier on just because I rather be safe than sorry. I don't want them to stay hard. That's the worst. You want them to be nice and soft. So yeah, I'm going to put this on a medium heat and put the lid on and check back in like 2 or 3 minutes. Once you can see that your potatoes have started to brown as well, they almost look like roast potatoes, you want to put your heat completely down at this stage and then just put the lid back on. They are brown, but they're not soft enough, so just put the lid back on for that. Start sticking, just add a drop of water, just a bit. You don't want to add that too much, and then give them a stir and then put the lid back on. Be waiting till the potatoes are completely soft. So yeah, I'll check back in another 2 to 3 minutes. So guys, the colour should look like this. I know they look really burnt and things, but it's the perfect amount of colour. And now I'm going to add in the frozen peas. You can add fresh peas as well. The thing is with rice is that in a normal curry you wouldn't want your onions to be this dark, just because you run the risk of ruining the taste. But with rice is you need to get that colour, that brown colour out from somewhere. So that's where we get it out from, the onion. So don't get scared if they look like that. I remember when a couple of times I did it and it looked like that and I got really scared, but it was right. So now all we want to do is fill up the saucepan that you use to measure the rice. You want to fill that right to the top. Why? Because the the rice came to halfway of the saucepan, so you want to double the amount of water. Obviously, like I explained in my the chicken pulao video, which I'll link down below, rice and water obviously are not measured in the same measurements. Rice is measured in grams and water in milliliters or liters. So you should have something that you can measure it with. So I know some people use like an old pot or something, or some people use a saucepan like me. So you just want to find something that you can use to measure. All I'm going to do now is add in 1 teaspoon of cumin seeds and 1 teaspoon of garam masala, and then just give that a nice mix. And now after stirring it, I'm just going to add in all of the rice. So I've just washed the rice. I haven't soaked it or anything, just washed it in some water, drain the excess water out of it, and basically that's the rice. And I'm just going to add that in and give that a good stir. So the gas is on a high heat and we just want to carry on stirring that, and basically after you stir it a couple of times, make sure it's not stuck to the bottom, and then put on the lid. This is honestly the most simplest rice to make. If you guys are struggling with the other rice, the chicken pulao rice, then I would really recommend you make this one first and then try that one. So after a couple of minutes, the gas is still on a high heat and it's still bubbling away. All I've done here is put some, you can see the gas is still bubbling. All I've done here is I've put some foil on the lid of the pan, sorry, and the mat side is facing up. It's not secure, you can see there's little gaps. You want to keep this quite loose. It's just for the sake of generating steam. You have to keep the steam inside and for the water to kind of, reduce quicker, because it's really quick and easy rice. We want it to be as fast as possible, so this helps the process. So keeping on a high heat, I'm going to check back in about 2 to 3 minutes. So guys, you can see that the water has reduced a lot, and this is what we don't want the water to completely evaporate. You can see there's still some there, but it's just not that visible. And now I'm going to put that same lid and I'm going to press it as hard as you possibly can, and I've got it on my back gas, low heat, and I've got this, I don't know what you call this in English or in our own language or any sort of language. If you guys know what this thing is, then do leave it down below. I'd love to know, but I'm sure you can get it in most supermarkets. Asian supermarket shops would definitely have it. So it just helps to control the heat that's coming out of it. And basically what I'm going to do is put my saucepan on top of that. It is on a very low heat and we're going to leave that on there for about 10 to 15 minutes. Make sure you do check back in between, because after 10 minutes it does have a tendency to kind of start burning and stuff like that. If you don't have one of those things, guys, you can always use a tawa, which is in most Asian households, or a flat saucepan that you might have, that you're not really scared of putting anything on top of it burning or whatever. But tawa is the next best alternative. So after 10 minutes, do check, because they do start to burn. The only reason I'm not saying completely 10 minutes is some people's gas is more powerful than others. So 10 to 15 minutes and then they should be done. So when the rice look like this, you'll know they're done. You can see the lovely colour and lovely consistency. So you just want to take that off the gas and serve it with whatever you wish to serve it with. The rice should look like this when they're done. And basically, guys, this is the end of the video. I hope you guys enjoyed this really quick and simple way to make rice. If you haven't watched if you want to watch a slightly more complex version, then I'll link my chicken pulao recipe down below, and in that you can see I've made a stock for the rice as well. It's slightly more complex, like I said, and it's probably best if you start off with a rice like this just to get the hang of things and then move on to that. But anywho, that's the end of this video, and if you guys haven't already subscribed, then make sure you do, and I'll catch you guys in my next one. Bye!